Welcome to the interview on Galavante. I'm Christine Dryden, your host and the founder of Galavante. And I am the lucky person who gets to interview some very fascinating people that we meet around the world. Our guest today is Angela Martini, who is the former Miss Universe, the former Miss Albania, and today is a film producer and now an author of her book, Love, Hope, and Light. Angela is here today to share her story and also give us a peek inside this extraordinary book that she's had the courage to write.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Very well as well.
Your life has taken such an incredible turn since I saw you. You were modeling. Your career was just booming. Like you were everywhere, and like you're even more so everywhere now. How did everything change? What brought you to LA first?
Well, I felt like I needed to change. I felt like an energy. I felt like I had the dark cloud. You know, I never thought I would move away from New York because that was my dream since I was a little girl. On top of it, this is funny, I have an astrologist that is number one. He's not a psychic, astrologist. And he told me, you will move to LA, you like it or not. And there, everything will start. And there you're going to find your love. And then without knowing, 2 months later, I just went for the Oscar weekends. I liked LA so much. I never went back to New York, not even to grab my stuff back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can you believe that? And he told me what year I will meet him and what place. And everything, like he described his voice and everything and under what circumstances. And then I decided not to model anymore. I decided to go a different path. And it was a difficult time because it's very hard to find your calling. And for me, was the most important thing is to find my calling and what really truly makes me happy and not like what I think really makes me happy. You understand? Like an illusion. And I said, you know what, changes are good. And even if we don't like it and they're scary, we should embrace them. And that's what I started to do to change everything.
You're even more successful now. You're not modeling, which is insane to me.
I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to go like to show more than just outside, something from inside that I have. And I love creating, I love sharing. I'm a storyteller, and I said like, this is what I feel makes me happy, and I feel like I have a bigger purpose, and that's the direction I went.
I saw that you wrote a book.
Yes.
The book seemed so deeply personal. What motivated you to write your book?
It was a story that a lot of women, like my girlfriends, and I'm a girl's girl, were complaining all the time about their life and about men and how hard it is. And then I was always telling them exactly this story, what is in my book. And I noticed that was inspiring them, and they would call me after years and say, you know, I still don't forget your words, what you told me. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to write this book, and hopefully I'm going to inspire women that you have to love each time like you've never been hurt before. You can find the one no matter what age, because my mom found it at 47 years old after 4 marriages, marrying 2 times the same guy. And I wanted to show them the story that from where I came from and how hard actually my childhood was and my life was. I had to really work hard.
What was that like growing up in Albania at that time?
For me, I didn't even know I was poor. I thought Albania is the most amazing place, which it still is. I have such a special connection. It was a surrounding full of love. Family is very connected. Even your neighbors are family. This is like the mentality of Albania. I love the food and everything, but then it became a very hard time because of the civil war. But my hardest time was when I moved to Switzerland, because I didn't know I will move to Switzerland. I thought I'm going just on vacation and coming back after 1 month. And I never went back to Albania till 8 years later. And my life changed forever. So the hardest time for me was adjusting to Switzerland at that age, because the mentality was so different for me. And I was separated from my mother, which is written in the book. And I was feeling like Snow White movie, you know? Like stories like, you know, people don't like you, everything is new. But I went into a world of dreaming. That's what happened to me. Like you learn the power of your mind once you are in the most difficult circumstances. When you're always good, you will never grow and never learn. So I always say, and I repeat it so many times, you have to embrace the bad, sometimes even more than the good, because from the bad you grow. Otherwise, you remain the same.
What brought you back to Albania after 8 years?
Well, after 8 years, my mother wanted to go to Albania on vacation, and she took me, and that's when I write as well in my book. It's so funny, I grew up in Switzerland and everything, and there is where my life again changed, in Albania, because the moment I arrived at the airport, the policeman stopped me and says, wait a second, and gave me his phone, and he says, please speak to this person. I didn't know who that was. And then they say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm Miss Albania organization. So that's when it started, like not even, I was 10 minutes at the airport in Albania. And it's so funny, like if I have to go back to my country and they bring me to New York, introduce me to Fadil Berisha, to the photographer, and there starts the whole life. The policeman cast me at the book. It was not even the Miss Albania organization. He gave me the number and he called for me and he says, speak to the person. I didn't understand to who. It's always something connected with Albania for me. And of course, Miss Universe after 5 years, when I decided to do it, was like the peak on top of it.
I was reading a little bit about your mother and how, you know, she had a lot of struggles and now is this incredibly successful businesswoman.
Yeah. Her life started at 47.
My gosh, Angela, I still have hope.
You still have hope. Her life started at 47 after 4 broken marriages, married 2 times the same guy, and making $60 a month in Albania and never traveled the world before. Yeah, what I learned with my mother was that she never was a victim. Never. Like, no, I never saw my mother being a victim, no matter what happened. She will never say, poor me, look at what happened, what we do now. Like, she was always, no matter what happens, she's always smiling. And she always says, okay, this is life. You have to accept the good and the bad. Like, I never saw her suffering about a man or crying about a man, like, oh, I'm divorcing, what I'm doing now. Like, that's watching her and witnessing that affected me a lot about love. Like, relax. The next one.
I am so excited to read this book. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to put all of those feelings and all of that personal information out there for everyone.
You know what? I said life is too short. And what's the point if you experience so many things if you cannot share the truth? It's a bigger mission behind it, beyond your insecurities or overthinking. And it took me 3 years to do this book, just to write it. 3 years. I have a lot of things that constantly keep happening in my life, just especially last year. I don't think you see that even in the movies. It becomes like very crazy.
Oh my gosh, we need to have another whole interview when you do your second book, because I'm so curious. How could anything top already this
it can
story?
Trust me, it can top basically fighting a whole system. Being a warrior, like, trust me, like nothing that it looks in Instagram or anything, like completely.
What's next for you?
I'm working on my second book, of course, continue producing movies, and I submitted my first short film in Cannes Film Festival this year, so let's see what happened, but it got postponed.
What's your film about that you submitted to Cannes?
It's about the first human civilization, about the Sumerians.
I had no idea there was just all of this for you in the future, and even so much more. Like, you're so impressive, and congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much, Christine. You're so sweet. Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Wow, I don't know about you guys, but I am inspired to love like I have never loved before. That was such an incredible interview with Angela, and her book, Love, Hope, Light, is available on Amazon. I am really excited to see where her story is going to be taking her, because while already having a film debut at Cannes and having a book that you've written is such a big accomplishment. Clearly, this is just the start for the very talented Angela Martini. Thank you so much for joining us on the interview at Galavante. We look forward to bringing you to other incredible places with incredible people around the world.